Well, good morning, everybody. It's February 17th, 2025, and the favorite time of our week, and hopefully your week, because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. Hi, everybody. My name's Paul.
Hello, Paul. This is Bev.
And it's the favorite time of our month because we get to be together.
Again. Here we are.
Here
Yay.
we are. All right. So we're going to talk about BioTouch Brings Hope. And we have it should be a very interesting little discussion. We're going to build on our bit about the crisis talk. But first of all, we want to jump right to the dream catcher. And this week we have a very
Who's
special...
in the middle?
Jenny Garner!
Jenny! Yay!
Longtime practitioner. There's a posting from her doing it on trauma. Really good one.
Yes.
She did a really
Very
nice talk,
good one.
very timely.
Yep.
And she has the greatest responsibility of volunteering because she works on me.
Hey, that's pretty important.
So,
Just saying.
so blessings to Jenny. If
Yes.
you'd like to be in the dream catcher, just send us a picture in your name and where you live on the planet, and we'll put you in the dream catcher. It's always fun to... or someone you love, or that's either here or not here on the planet.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's our dream catcher this week, and we're going to talk about hope.
We are.
But we're going to start with, so I don't know if you've heard about Zach Bush, Dr. Zach Bush, MD. He's a specialist in 3 different outrageous...
Virologist.
Yeah, and
I mean, this
all kinds
guy,
of... It's worked with birthing and dying and, the whole gamut.
Yeah.
But he had a nice little post that I wanted to summarize, basically. He said, basically, fear and guilt is creating genetics from life to mere survival.
Wow.
He says, which leads to premature death. He says he's seeing a lot of that in these days on the planet. Mm-hmm. And he goes on... he said over half are now being able to escape this cycle of fear and guilt to hope.
Good news.
Yes, to hope. So he's talking about hope. It's interesting. He says when folks come into his clinic with cancer, he spends the first 3 hours refusing. He doesn't talk to them at all about the cancer. Instead, he talks about that the situation is the most important thing that's ever happened to them, and it is a gift. And that being aware of the mechanism in their body will be their greatest teacher and take them to a point of enlightenment to completely change their sense of reality. That is how we get them out of fear and guilt, he says, and this is where we must begin as a society.
Wow. That's pretty heavy. Just going in the opposite direction of what we've been doing, huh?
And, that has been the goal of BioTouch. Well, that's the reason I really got involved with BioTouch in the beginning. Was not necessarily that bodies got better, but it was about bringing a new dialogue, a new paradigm for society in relation to their body and the healing of their body.
It's certainly, I've said it before, it's cutting edge. Just like Dr. Zach Bush.
Yeah.
Cutting edge. Yep.
So, that's been our goal from the beginning is how do we use BioTouch to bring us hope? And that was sort of the one thing when my mother had, basically she died on the operating table. They brought her back to life. They said if she lived, she'd be a vegetable. And here I am in the intensive care waiting room with all these other people who were helpless.
Right.
Hopeless. Oof. Fearful,
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, well, I need to get BioTouch out there to help bring some hope to these families. And you remember the greatest one was that woman who her husband had a brain tumor.
Oh.
And we worked with him, and he died anyhow. He did a lot of other techniques, but they told us the one technique that gave them hope out of all the techniques he was doing was BioTouch.
So what are we hoping for? I mean, really, because we've talked about BioTouch and hope all the time. So what are we hoping for when we talk about that?
Well, I think.
I mean, this young man passed away.
Right.
He didn't have any hope of, making it to 40.
Right.
So what gave him hope about BioTouch?
And I think that's sort of what I read into Zach Bush. The hope. The hope that everything's going to be okay.
The hope that there's something greater.
Yes, they're
waiting for us.
Yes. What is life? Is this life just this, existence, and you wake up in the morning and you go through all these things, and then like they say, you pay your taxes and you die.
That's the survival mode.
Right. So, what is hope to you?
Hope to me, that's one of those words that nobody really knows. We throw it around a lot, but I guess in this instance, for me personally, and my experience with BioTouch, I become aware of these unlimited possibilities. That's really all we need to really latch on to. If there's an incredible possibility of something changing, that gives us hope right there. And isn't that what BioTouch does for us in that self-awareness? It helps us to understand that we don't have to accept that this is going to end this way, or this is all we are, or any of those things that lead to premature death, as Dr. Zach talks about. That, no, you're going through a transformative journey. That's what BioTouch says. You're on a healing journey. You're not on a journey to get crappy. You're on a journey to heal. And that happens on all these different parts of ourselves, as we know.
Yeah, and that's what he talks about in relation to this is going to completely change their sense of reality. That's the hope.
Yeah.
To change our sense of reality, how we relate to the world and how the world relates to us. Yeah. But interestingly, how he starts with the body.
Oh,
there you go. He meets people at that level.
I know. Well...
And that's what BioTouch is. You take those two fingers and you lightly touch another human being just below the breastbone in that soft tissue area, the solar plexus, the center of our whole being, and we touch another human being, and another human being is allowing us into that space.
Yeah. Oh, safe and trusting.
Yes. So it's developing relationship.
Well, there's a thought that we definitely needs to be encouraged.
Yes.
Because there's just one great relationship. It's us seeing something greater in each other. That's a true relationship. And BioTouch, I've said this so many times, and it just, I kind of like, okay, kids, stop with I'm going to self-heal here. I'm going to, try to do this and try to do, not that you can't do that. But BioTouch is saying, no. Now you have to, I'm going to force you to come into a relationship with another human being.
So it's interesting. Jenny and I were just talking, we were talking about self-love.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, the Bible talks about it too, and I went, it actually says love the neighbor as thyself.
Yes.
It doesn't say love thyself as the neighbor.
Right. Absolutely right. Absolutely.
And
love
I'm
your neighbor as yourself.
And so BioTouch is putting into application love the neighbor as thyself. So as we love the neighbor, as we give them the space to come to their own self-awareness, that's how it comes back to us.
I know. We've said that so many times about BioTouch.
Yes. And so BioTouch, the hope of bringing love into relationship, that's like revolutionary.
Cutting edge. I'm telling you.
Which is funny because in the very beginning, if you haven't heard this story, we had an ex-CIA agent in our class. And at the very first certification class, he turns and he says to the group, I've been involved in a lot of revolutions, but I've never seen one as powerful as what's happening here. He says, because this one is based on love.
Wow. And you're
And
like, ooh, what do we do with that?
And that was 35 years ago.
35 years ago.
So the revolution is still continuing. I hope this doesn't get blipped out, because we're so.
It's a revolution of kindness and compassion,
Yes.
and caring about each other. That's
And so
what it's going to take.
And so how does this hope work? Well, we even have the clinical research for that, don't we?
Yeah.
So here's our chart again, our research that we did with Dr. Kenna Stevenson, another medical practitioner. And she did some research, she did some hormone testing, she did a questionnaire. All of that's on our website, justtouch.com. But here's the chart she talked about. And you can see at the bottom half of the chart, the top half of the chart, if you can't see it, we'll tell you, are all the stressors in our life. And everything from psychological distress, what he talks about, fear and guilt, environmental stresses, fear of those things, relationships, excessive tobacco and drug use, even prescription, non-prescription, our different diets that we're trying to deal with, socioeconomics, and we're being inundated with that. I mean, through our social media, through our news media, through, the global community, you can't not participate in it any longer. It's everywhere. And that's creating chronic stress, accelerated aging pathways, which creates, as Kenna tells us, immune dysregulation, cortisol dysregulation, and, as Zach Bush says, premature death and dementia, cardiovascular disease, infections, tumors, mood disorders, obesity, all the things we're seeing all around us.
Wow,
and it's
absolutely.
accelerated, and so
Yes.
premature death is starting to occur with a lot of us. But then she shows, if you put into that chronic stress cycle BioTouch, the hope,
Yeah.
put hope in there through simple touch, you improve circadian pattern of cortisol release, which improves the quality of life, she says, and you increase interleukin 12 levels to improve immune system function, which increases the activity of genes that fight infection and cancer and promote healthy aging.
That's it.
Healthy aging.
Healthy aging.
So, BioTouch is the hope. BioTouch brings us hope just with a light little touch.
So maybe self-love is letting somebody else love you.
Yes. Let yourself be,
Be
loved.
loved. Yeah.
Yes. So take this technique. Let's bring it into our homes. Start with the children now. Create a habit energy of touch. A little bit of BioTouch, 30 seconds in the morning for you to touch someone and for them to do the greeting to you. Imagine breakfast with the children, doing BioTouch. Just go around the room and just have each person touch one another.
Yeah.
If you have a meeting, do a little all of our meetings, we start with BioTouch.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
board meetings, our staff meetings, and we don't do much.
No.
Just the
You
greeting.
don't have to.
Yeah. So, that could bring hope to, as he's talked about, we must begin as a society. This is the society.
Yeah.
This is the revolution of love.
Right.
And what does our dear friend Bruce Lipton say?
Oh. Many things, but excuse me, the thing that got my attention was, well, change happens at the cellular level, which really means we should participate in our own healing journey, not being observers outside of our bodies, but one with our body, a self-awareness. But Bruce Lipton, Dr. Lipton, has said, aha, here's the secret. We can change the story in ourselves. We don't have to buy in to the old patterns, which is a lot of stress and guilt and fear, right? It's part of it. But you can tell a different story to those wonderful little cells in your body. And you have to tell the story in love.
In love.
And the first time I heard him say that, I thought, that is what BioTouch is here to do.
Yes. And then we have Gary Schwartz, who said BioTouch is a high level of love.
Yes.
Which not just transforms ourselves, but the whole planet and our
Right.
relationship to the planet, to all humans, to the world, to the globe. Doesn't matter the language you speak. We have some new parts of our website. We're going to have a Turkish page, an
Egyptian
Arabic,
page.
one in Arabic,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be for the search engines in those countries. So it doesn't matter the language, because when you look at the pictures, they're all doing the same thing.
And they're all people.
Yes. So it truly is about bringing love to our planet, bringing love to one another, bringing love to the messes we might see, whatever side of the story you're on. BioTouch, getting the word neutralizes.
Yeah, breaks down all the barriers. We've said that a lot of times. The barriers between us is part of the stress and the guilt and the fear.
And the nice thing about BioTouch is it started in a little town in Colorado.
Yep.
Southern Baptists, Mormons, cowboys, and ranchers, and this little Jewish hippie,
Yeah, right. Wow.
So, join us to learn BioTouch. Go to justtouch.com. Download even just the greeting. Doesn't cost you anything for that. Come to some of our workshops that we do the fourth Thursday of the month. We have one coming up, lymphedema, lymphatic health. With Hillary Gooden. She gives us some great little tools also, along with, we'll show you a few sets of points to do for how to work with the lymphatic system. And then we have classes, we have workshops, we have them here in Tucson live, we have them online. Massage therapists can get CE credits. Great adjunct to your massage practice. Great
Absolutely.
adjunct.
Absolutely.
We've been told by massage therapists it actually opens up the fascia, and makes their massages much easier to do. So we're just here to help you. We're here to help bring hope to humanity, to your life. And
we need it.
Yes.
So much. Yeah.
So please join us. It's just so simple. justtouch.com, office@justtouch.com if you want to send us an email. We'll work with you individually too. If you have a personal question, just send it to us. We'll answer you right away. If we need to do a simple Zoom with you, we can do that. We can meet with you and your loved ones, make sure you're doing it right. And the nice thing is you can't do it wrong. Just doing the greeting, you can't hurt anybody. It's not the kind of technique you have to have years of practice.
Oh, not even.
You're going to be effective the very first time you do BioTouch.
Right.
And knowing that even if you touch an extra point here and there, it's not going to harm anybody.
Nope.
And it's no contraindications to your medications, if you're doing radiation like I was doing, if you're doing operations, it can only enhance the healing process.
That's it. It's so integrative with everything you want to do. Yeah.
So please integrate with us. Give us a call. Go to our website. Let us into your home. We're here every Monday. We're only here every month together.
A month of Mondays.
A month of Mondays. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next week for sure.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. But healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.